Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, mini Motorways. Let's go to Mexico City for today's daily challenge, which will see tunnels requiring double road tiles. And, for whatever it is worth, we begin with 4 roundabouts. Ow, my entire self hurts. Achy and yawny and bleh today. It is an achy, yawny, and bleh kind of day, but it is also Friday, and that is wonderful. It is the end of the working week after we get through today, and then it'll be the weekend, and God only knows what will happen on the weekend. I have a strong idea of at least, actually most of my weekend, come to think of it, because tomorrow morning, early in the morning, I am taking my car to the mechanic, ostensibly for an oil change and tire rotation, but, you know, my little 2013 Hyundai Accent has developed a nasty habit pretty much ever since it crossed 100,000 miles, and now it's up to almost 170,000 miles. Every time I go in for an oil change, I wind up spending $1,000 on something. But, you know, ostensibly, I'm going in for an oil change and tire rotation, which is a very important thing to do for reasons we'll get to later in the same weekend. Tomorrow evening, I'm taking my adorable little kitty cat Nora to be dropped off at a friend's house because Sunday, I am driving to Pittsburgh. And for those of you who know where the _Goog lives, and listen, for those of you who have been paying attention, you should be able to figure it out. And the _Goog lives in Western Massachusetts, and I'm going to Pittsburgh via automobile. It's a better idea than flying to Pittsburgh because, well, there is theoretically a straight shot flight from the airport in Hartford, Connecticut to Pittsburgh, but my work would not pay for that. No, of course not. They would save money if they have me fly out of Boston and connect in New Jersey, which is what happened last time I had to go to Pittsburgh for work. And 2 flights in cramped coach accommodations for a large achy type fella such as the _Goog. We're better off just driving, honestly. So it'll be a fun day on the road. One hopes and assumes it'll definitely be a day on the road. Sorry, did I mention I was yawny? I am also yawny in addition to being achy. I think I said achy and yawny. Well, it is again an achy, yawny type of day. Do I want to I think I'm going to reposition this road. Just free up a little more space in here. Also, come to think of it, this pink house can go over that away. This purple is now extant and in the way, so that's annoying. Also, I realized that I just restructured this road, but I think I'm going to 3-structure that road, by which I mean put it back into its configuration. Let's move this. That road comes down here rather nicely, swoops up in this manner, and we get these 2 purples to come service this business, which is nice and fine. We'll reposition this, free up a little square here. Actually, if a house was to spawn here, that would be kind of annoying because there's no great way to do anything with that house, but you know. Oh, I was trying to finish the sentence before I yawned. And then the yawn won. I fought the yawn and the yawn won. I fought the yawn and the yawn won. Sorry. Should try to resist the impulse to sing more often, but you know, sometimes you just gotta. Damn it. It's beavers regarding flowing water. Sometimes you just gotta, damn it. All right. Where was I? All right, Pittsburgh, but also Western Massachusetts. God. Okay. So this is now a circle. Annoying. Let's do that and this and that. So the 5 of these will go over here. That you will only have one house, at least for the time being. That probably won't always be the case, but, you know, it does seem to be presently the case. I could... I see what I can do. We can run these purples. Render under me in Motorway. Thank you very much. We can run the purples right over here. That was an album that people thought existed for a long time and nobody could confirm, and then it got released and it turned out to be rather disappointing, right? Run the Purples? I'm not a huge music buff, but I think that's a thing. It's like it's a Wu-Tang Clan album? Goog's knowledge of music is nothing to fuck with, so perhaps we should move on. We'll take these oranges, run them around here. These beiges are perfect candidates for Motorway numero uno. They'll run all the way down here. I could, theoretically, have these beiges serve this business and try to get these down to here, but I think it's basically fine the way it is. So yes, on Sunday, I am driving down to Pittsburgh. I will be there for a few days doing some training for work. We're going to take another tunnel because, you know, it's Mexico City. This rock formation is going to be a pain in the butt for pretty much ever, so we might as well get used to that. More purples over here. Game. Oh, game had a big hiccup. Okay, that's fine. I thought it had paused momentarily, and then I thought it had died momentarily. It turned out the latter was closer to true, although neither was in fact the whole condition. So you'll run down this way. We'll reposition this largely just to make this look better. Same reason we're doing this, largely just to make this look better. In the fullness of time, this will want to be a roundabout. Not a roundabout, a traffic light. You know, we'll just pop down here, do something perfectly cromulent going off in that direction. For now, this is fine the way it is. We've got 6 pink houses going over to this circle. Another orange here, supporting this business. Should not be a problem. This little purple right here kind of wants to be involved in that direction, but only kinda. Let's ever so slightly reposition motorway number 1, get another beige house involved with it. I could draw a tunnel there. Doesn't seem like I really need to. Now there are 2 purples here. Hold on. It's becoming a little bit more of an idea. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these now 3 beiges, run them that away. This beige house over here shall be served by the longest, most expensive tunnel in the history of the world, and nothing else. We'll just take these 2 beige houses right here, and actually, I think if we run this over here like so, we can reclaim motorway number 1. Like, there's no reason for motorway number 1 to exist if we have 4 beige houses on this road going up into here. Should be fine. Speaking of things that should be fine, now we have a couple of yellow buddies right here. You know what we'll do? I have an idea. Gonna do this, actually. We're gonna run that right there, and I'm gonna connect right here, because, like, this is not very often going to be the case, but I betcha. I've got 2 motorways. I want to take another tunnel. Some extra road tiles should be fine. First thing, while I'm thinking of this, before I get into my explanation for that silly dumb thing I did, let's hook these beiges up to this road, better support this business. That'll be fine. You are an orange business right here. You can be given some love support in houses and dudes. So the 3 of you go up there, the 2 of you come down here. That'll be fine. Okay, so this beigeness here has 2 houses straight shot directly, pretty much directly adjacent to it Really not ever going to need more than that, especially given now that there's a third one, right? We do have a third beige house right here. This beigeness, totally fine, right? If this was, say, to go circular or just decide to be a jerk basket, it's possible that it might need a little bit more support. So at least for now, at least in this moment, we've got these beiges right over here. They had previously not been doing nothing. Now they can do a little something. Do I want to take traffic lights? Because I do have a situation that would benefit from a traffic light. I am going to take a traffic light, actually. Maybe arguably should have taken the tunnel still, but I think given that we have an extant situation that could use a perfectly cromulent traffic light, I think putting a PCTL right there is a good idea. Although, he says, realizing that his PCTL is no longer necessary, or no longer ideal, rather. I did just have this beigeness here come into existence. So what I'm going to do, actually, is connect this. So now these two beige houses, theoretically, can provide assistance over here, and theoretically can provide assistance up here. They're probably not gonna need to do either, but they can. And that's something. Additionally, I've got, well, hold on. We can do just a little bit of restructuring up here to smooth out this beige road. That'll be fine. These beige houses here, hold on. These beige houses here exist. That means I can kill that long tunnel. If I kill that long tunnel, I reclaim a whole bunch of road. So if I reclaim a whole bunch of road, then we can provide extra support for this beige circle. And that extra support can come that way right here. So as soon as this sets itself out, which will do with this car here, yeah. As soon as this car here is out of the tunnel, we can connect to this, and then these 5 beige houses support this beige circle on like a secondary basis. Okay, cool. Next, we're going to murder and chop this beige nonsense right here. We're also, I think, going to point this up to here, restructure this yellow road, because these yellows are going that way. Okay. So the yellows are going that way. This is fine. You know what? I think we're just going to say to hell with this. You know, I had a theoretical plan that might have involved using these beiges to support this business. That's never going to actually happen. Instead, I'm just going to make a tiny little beige tunnel. Get these 3 houses to work their way up into here. Provide additional support for this beigeness. Should this ever get busy or go circular, everything will be fine. This greenhouse goes on this green road, serves this green business. That'll be cool. Now we have this double plaza right here and this large pile of pink houses presently doing nothing. We're going to bulldoze a couple of trees. Sorry about that, trees. And then we'll draw motorway number 1 like so. Everybody go. All right. You, beige house, hook around up to here. Bring this pink in like so. This second pink over thusly. Chop that road. Feel like Peyton Manning in a... I don't even remember what that commercial was for, which indicates that it wasn't a great commercial. But I do remember that there was a Peyton Manning in a commercial going, chop that meat, cut that meat. So, I feel like Peyton Manning saying, chop that road. All right. These 6 purple houses are getting a little bit angsty, which I sort of understand. I mean, you got a fairly long road situation going on. You got 2 businesses to support. Makes sense to me that you'd be a little bit annoyed. Let's take another motorway. Wonder if maybe I can just separate these right here. Like, what if we were to say, rid ourselves of that roundabout, cut this road entirely, pull in these 2 purples, which had previously been doing, frankly, nothing. And now suddenly, we have 4 purples on motorway number 2 down to here, and these 4 purples on this road going over here. It's maybe theoretically a little bit less support, but it also, more importantly, adheres to our guiding principle of one business and one road. If we have one business, we should put one road to it. I'm severing this connection here because it was part of the lingering remnants of the idea that these beiges might help with this business, but I disconnected these beiges from the plaza, so they were never getting over there. And now as soon as I do that, this is a circle now. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. Are you going to be fine? Oh, speaking of things that are fine, and more importantly, things that are not fine. Hi there. So this green circle's mad. I understand that. You're a circle business and you only have 2 houses of support. That's frankly bad. It's poor road design, so I understand. It makes sense to me that you're angry. I shall endeavor to fix the issue presently. Let's do this. We're going to run greens over here. We're going to put this into that. And hold on. There's a way to make this work. If we connect there, this is a PCTL, right? Because you're coming down here, you're going to turn right, you're going here, and when you're going back, you're either going to turn left or go straight. Okay. This is a perfectly cromulent traffic light. This is the scariest blank square in the history of the map. I could probably restructure so that that square is occupied, but I don't want to. I think we're going to be fine. Maybe a greenhouse will spawn there. That should be okay. All right. So now with all of these greens dedicated solely to the service of this business, that, you may have assumed, overfucks this. However, we do have a whole bunch of greenhouses right here, which, with the benefit of some little hercliness in this direction, actually, you know what? We're going to have fewer houses pointing straight at that, but they're going to be shorter travel distance. We'll put motorway number 3 right here, and its off-ramp shall be there. Okay. Now, I'm also, while we're here rearranging stuff, I'm just going to grab these beige houses, toss them off in this direction. We'll get a little bit more beige support going for this beigeness right here. Cool. These 3 yellows can come this way. We'll get a little bit more yellow love going over here. Can I put a roundabout? I can put a roundabout right here. That doesn't actually help me, I don't think. Well, hold on. I can do this. Hold on. Yeah, I can do this. Okay. I see a plan here. We'll take another tunnel. Oh, hi. You're a beigeness. Fuck you. All right. Well, I was going to say, let's do this. Let's instead do this. We're going to chop that. We're going to chop this. We're going to have these yellows run up this way. Voop. They go up north, over, and around. That then frees up these 3 beige houses to just serve this beigeness right here. That should be okay. These yellows, then, are supplements in this direction, and now we have 9 yellow houses serving this yellow business. Okay. Oh, hi, up here. You're a green. You exist. Okay, fine. I understand. Let's take a moment to scratch my itchy mustache head. Ow. And then we'll draw a green road going up here. So these 3 houses serve that. That'll be fine. This purple business here just went circular, which I don't love, frankly. But I think it might be okay. Like, ow, ow, ow. Well, we are getting additional purple spawns, which is helpful. We're now up to 7 houses on this road. Not a bad situation. We got another purple that spawned up here when I wasn't looking. That's cool. So there are now 5 serving over here. This is a circle, which I think that's okay, actually. It goes in the circle hole. All right, let's see here. So this orange business now exists, and I don't love that, but we can just kind of staple these oranges to motorway number 1. And if we just kind of staple these oranges to motorway number 1, then they can just take the same motorway and go into the same plaza, honestly. Like, I think that's kind of okay. All right. This purple business is mad. Why is that? Is that because this road's a little ucky? It is worth noting that this road is a little ucky. Like, it's at least a little bit ucky. It's also a little bit rock and roll, but it's a little bit ucky. Let's see here. Can't really do too much about that. I can peel some purples off here. If I do this, and then we run a weird little tunnel over here, that peels 5 purples off the road. We pull them here via PCTL.
Thank Goog it's Friday.
Thank Goog it's Friday, says Sports Pun, resubscribing at tier 1 for 57 months. 57 months, darn near 5 years in the Goog troop for our dear friend Sports Pun. Thank you very much. This orange over here comes over that way. That'll be fine. This orange goes up here to this business. These pinks are just kind of extant hangers on. They're not really doing nothing, but you know, they're here, they're present, they're fine. They're okay. Oh, hi. When did you go circular? I don't remember you getting all roundy. Hold on. That was Road Dogg and K-Quick's entrance music, right? Get roundy? Glorious. No? Okay. That's fine. Passage of time remains a what the fuck concept. We are, as the children say, old. It's true. You're not wrong, Sports Pun. Okay, so what I've done over here. I basically peeled these 5 purple houses off of this main road. And the idea is, you know, we want to minimize the amount of through traffic that has to deal with driveways. So we have our main travel avenue, our main travenue, if you will. And then we have our little side street here that goes off into a residential neighborhood. This over here just, you know, terminates in a residential neighborhood. That'll be generally fine. This beige house may as well go over there, serve that beigeness. This pink business has gone circular. You've already got 8 houses on this road going into that thing, so I think that's generally going to be fine. Let's take another tunnel. I don't think I'm going to need a 3rd tunnel or a 5th roundabout, to be honest with you, but I'm likelier to need the former than the latter. We'll put another orange over here. This might in time become a bit of a clusterfuck. Like, I could theoretically maybe construct a roundabout here somehow, but I don't know how, so let's not worry about it. Instead, we'll take some of these pinks, which are just kind of clogging up the visual aesthetics of this orange road, and leave them off that away. Here's another beige for this little circle beigeness right here. That's okay. Orange business up here is very mildly annoying, but, you know, I did say very mildly. We'll toss a few more greens onto the spawn placement for this road, and then restructure that road. Yeah, let's just run these greens over here as soon and as far as we can. So you get up there like so. So now ideally we would want oranges to approach this from the south. Fine. Let's restructure this beige road then. Try to get it up and over this orange neighborhood. I think that makes sense. I say orange neighborhood. There's like an overgrowth of orange dudes here. But I suppose you shouldn't refer to a population of people as overgrowth. That's bad. Still, we'll bulldoze that tree. Sorry about that tree. And we'll run all of these oranges in this direction like so. Okay. So you go there, I guess. These 3 orange houses right here presently don't have anything to do, but they're, you know, what's that? They're the 8th through 10th orange houses to support what is currently a square. I don't think they were going to be needed anyway, but that's just me. All right, stuff is mad. Here's another orange house for this orange business. I think the problem here is one of clogged traffic flow, though, rather than dude supply. I think we might be running into a similar problem with this green circle, which was briefly annoyed. Is there anything I can do to provide or to smooth out the support system here? I'd like... I don't know, man. I keep wanting to do a roundabout here, but there just isn't space for one. If we could smooth this out somehow. Dude Supply is your favorite discount superstore for all your ranching needs. Listen, anyone can go to Tractor Supply, but where are you going to get dudes to run the tractors? Huh? Dude Supply. Dude Supply is the title of the episode now. Oh, God. All right. Everybody go. Yeah, this orange here is just bad. Well, actually, hold on. Let's take another motorway. If we take another motorway, we can at least theoretically just take these oranges and have them live on their own. Like, if you just go over here, at least in theory, this will get a little bit more smooth. Now, this situation here might be completely fucked already. You might just be doomed. But, okay, it was just doomed, actually. That's a shame. 2,897 commuters over 91 days. Ow. Ow, ow. It's top 10% in the world. It is, however, still 2,000 dudes away from our dear friend Samurai Sam. All right, drop those slams in the chat. Second frackin' rackin' motherfucking Sam being better than me at the video game. Grumble, 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 complain. Who gave Sam this video game anyway? Damn it. Oh, wait. It was me. Here is the Wordle puzzle for today. The Wordle today is petard. No, the Wordle today is hound. It could well be hound. It is not hound. A shame. The Wordle today is those. It could be those. There's no reason to say that it's not. It is, in fact, not. Oh, well. The Wordle today is throw. It could be throw. THROW, because it is the verb, not the Pokemon. Well, maybe it is the Pokemon. Hold on. It could be throb. That's what it could be. At least I knew words that it could be, and we eventually got there. That's a perfectly cromulent, workman-like wordling. Sorry. Nope. I know I said Dude Supply was the title of the episode, but then I said workman-like wordling, and come on. Come on, Goog, what the hell? Workman-like wordling is now the title. It's how Brandon Workman approaches his Wordle. All right, I have not seen today's Immaculate Grid. If we can work in former Boston Red Sox and I think Los Angeles Angels middle reliever Brandon Workman. We'll do that. But first, Time Guesser. It is the guesser of time and place, for that matter. All right. So, we have Café de Croissant. I'm sorry. That's not a French restaurant. That's a parody French restaurant. That's the kind of French restaurant that appears in whatever the town name is called in Phineas and Ferb as a one-shot gag where they needed Phineas and or Ferb to go to a French restaurant. Café de Croissant. Mon Dieu. All right. So we have the Café du Croissant. Lière de la Squawk Box. Interesting. Le Journal des Voyages. Your Très Something Cafe. All right, so these are this at least is very, very French. P. Wall and J. Quambuck, they are larvages. I don't know, man. Don't be a larvage. Throw out your garbage. Give a larvage. That's what it was. We have over here the Tambour Calchou, which, I don't know, it's where you get your lumber, I suppose. All right. So we're probably in Paris. I can't believe anything else would willingly call itself Le Café de Croissant, although it is on Le Rue de Croissant. Okay. All right. Oh God, we're so parodically French. It might actually be New Orleans, but I think we're gonna say that we're in Paris. We can't possibly be in Paris in 1883. That's incorrect. What do we got going on here? We got a fella. We got a fella standing in a place. Yeah, we got a fella standing in a place surrounded by dudes. It's looking pretty early, like 19 dickety nothing, actually. Could be 19 dickety nothing. I feel 19 dickety 2. We are at a random street corner en Paris dans 19 dickety 2. I don't know how you say dickety with a French accent, but, you know, it'll be fine. In we zoom to Paris. Let us point to Le Centre Georges Pompidou, former place, as we all know, of Le Café du Croissant. Here we go over here, 19 dickety 2. God, if we're actually in New Orleans, I'm going to be so mad. We are not in New Orleans. We are in Paris in 1924. Good job. Oh, they put up a plaque commemorating Jean Jaurès. That's a place he was assassinated. That is a shame. Next, we have the Ladakh Ecological Development Group and Restaurant. Okay. It serves delicious solar-baked fruit pies, chocolate cakes, cookies, and traditional Ladakhi food. Okay. If I was a person who recognized native groups of people, I would probably know where we are based on the presence of the Ladakh. I'm not. So, we also have Ladakh Cheap Crafts, New Alley and Sons, exporters and dealers in Tibetan, Ladakhi and Kashmiri arts. Okay, so Tibet, I know where that is, and Kashmir, I roughly know where that is. Fair enough. We've got curiosities, poorly spelled jewelry, embroidery, copper, brass, etc. It's opposite the post office building. Well, that doesn't help very much, but, you know. All right. So I have a vague general idea of where in the world we are. We're roughly, say, here-ish. Like, we've got Tibet, which is roughly, say, here-ish, and the Kashmir people, which are roughly, say, here-ish. So, yeah, we're roughly, say, here-ish. I'm going to toss a pin into northeast Pakistan, and it's probably going to be fine. As to the when of this, wonderful question. I don't feel terribly great about anything. I'm going to say 21st century, definitely. But, you know, we are a quarter of the way through that, so could probably get a little more precise if we wanted. It feels just like 2010. Like, I'm not seeing anything that screams this was taken yesterday. I'm not seeing anything that screams this couldn't have been taken yesterday. Generally, it's not a super duper high quality photo. You know, it looks like the kind of thing that could have been an iPhone snapshot, but it's not, you know, not really framed like a snapshot. So if it's the kind of photo that could have been quickly taken on an iPhone yesterday, it was probably professionally taken 15 years ago. So, yeah, I think we're just going to toss a pin here into northeast Pakistan, somewhere near Islamabad, and I don't feel terribly great about that place in particular, but I think we're broadly speaking in the right part of the world. Where's Tibet? Tibet's around here somewhere, right? Yeah, well, Tibet's like down here, isn't it? Tibet's like right next to Nepal. Okay. There's Islamabad. Here's a province that specifically calls itself out as being Kashmir. Yeah, okay. We'll toss a pin into northeast Pakistan. It'll probably be fine. Let's go 2011. If this one is New Orleans, I will quit the show. We are in Ladakh, India, a scant 423 kilometers away, but it was 1985. I'm sorry? How was it? Okay. All right. Fine. All right, so we got some cars lined up here. These 14 cars sold to the city of St. Louis. All right, so we're in St. Louis, Missouri. Around about the time it was very impressive to sell 14 cars. Okay. We're advertising Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. So this is like, this is how far left does this line go? This is 1911 we're looking at here. We got a marble granite monuments and tile building. I don't suppose there's a convenient date on this banner, is there? No. 14 cars sold to the city of St. Louis. Watch the Fords go by. Got it. Okay. No date scribblings on the edges of the photograph or nothing. All right. Well, how far? First of all, let's toss ourselves a pin here in St. Louis, Missouri. It was pointed out to me one time. This is very fun, mildly amusing. There are two large cities that you've probably heard of in Missouri. One being St. Louis and the other being Kansas City. They are as close to the borders of their state as they possibly can be. It is as if even the big cities in Missouri can't possibly stand being in Missouri. Anyway, let's just zoom into the downtown of St. Louis, Missouri. Hey, look, there's a baseball stadium. Let's instead put ourselves right there on Route 66, which is also South Tucker Boulevard. How far left does this go? 1900? It's probably a little aggressive. Let's say 1909. There we go. Hey, holy hell! I'm sorry. I expected that to be close. I didn't expect it to be 9,995 points worth of good. Good job, Goog. All right, next. Welcome to our queen. Now, hold on here. I think I'm a person who recognizes flags, and I think that's the Australian flag, but also just that line right there made me go, wait. This is a place that it was British, but is not British or something. It's kind of British. It's pseudo-British. It's British in the way Canada is British. Although, hold on, isn't this a Belgian flag? Why have you lined your thing with an apparent Belgian flag, Australia? It's a good question. All right. So that over there is QE2. This guy, probably important. This guy, possibly also important. Yeah, I'm thinking it's Australia. That's just a thought that I have. What do we got here? Although, wait. That does say the Cayman Arms. Are we just on the Cayman Islands? Cayman Islands are very far away from Australia. Also, they wouldn't be flying American flags in Australia. Why are you flying an American flag, dude? Are you like, to hell with this lady, let's go be independent about stuff? Is there a nationalist spirit of the Cayman Islands? Also, yes, sports fun. It is Brit-ish. Good job. Well done. I don't have a golf clap drop, so here, have Titus. It's a good job. Well done. Well done. Oh, God. All right. This over here is too non-focusy for me to actually pay attention to it. Why is my phone binging? It's as if it wants to tell me something, and then it decides not to. Okay. If your phone is binging, consider trying to get it to switch to Lycos or something. Ow. I would say Google, but Google's horrendous. So, what do we have over here? We've got the English shop in directly adjacent to the Cayman Arms. I am starting to think that this is not actually Australia, despite the presence of this. Maybe this actually means something. Like, I thought this was just an Australian flag with a thing on it, but maybe this is, like, your official flag design, and your official flag design just happens to be basically the Australian flag, but with a thing on it. All right. Hey, question. The fuck would the Cayman Islands be? They're somewhere over here, right? They're nearish Bermuda? I think they're nearish Bermuda. Here's Jamaica. There's Aruba. We could be in Aruba. Where would the Cayman Islands be? There's St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're friends like that. There's St. Kitts and Nevis. They're friends like that. We do have the British Virgin Islands. They're a thing that exists. And there are, like, American Virgin Islands, or at least there were once. Remind me to... Hold on, what are you? You're the Isla de Mona. All right. New life goal unlocked. I want to live on the Isla de Mona, given that there's... Well, there's not even a dot. No matter how in you zoom on the Isla de Mona, there's just nothing, so... I do kind of enjoy cities. They're nice, so maybe not. Maybe if they build a city on the Isla de Mona, we can just all go live on the Isla de Mona, and that'll be fine. Anyway. Aha! I found the Cayman Islands. And because I have found the Cayman Islands, we're going to guess the Cayman Islands because of the whole Cayman, you know. Question. Why do they call you the Cayman Islands? The Cayman Islands? Because there appears to be... do you claim these two? Hold on. Do you get these two? Why are you the Cayman Islands? The Cayman Islands? There's like one of you. And then there's those two way the hell over there. Why do you get those two way the hell over there? Seems wrong. All right. So we were in Georgetown, here in the Cayman Islands. Ow. Ow, ow. My nose. It itches. When was this picture taken? I don't know, man. 1996. That seems, broadly speaking, incorrect, but it'll be fine. It was 1994, and we were, in fact, in the Cayman Islands. So good job, Goog. Well done. Next and last, round 5. We have some signage way in the back here saying God only knows what. This over here says no parco di vane. All right, so we're in Italy, I've decided. No parco di vane for 7 hours 19 minutes. Don't actually say that. You're probably in trouble. Hey, look, a Mazda. Okay. Well, I don't know. They sell Mazdas in lots of places. It doesn't help overly much. Can we see any signage on our tram thing here? No? It's number 102, but that doesn't really help much. Most places that have trams have at least 102 of them. Because they're good. Well, Can't tell anything on your little bumper sticker dealer mark thing. It's unfortunate. That is not the Boston Red Sox, but it is B something. B is for Barcelona. Are we in Spain? B is for Venice, and we're in Italy. B is for Bern or Berlin, and we're in Germany. That sort of, man. Ugh. All right. This is either a drive on the left country or a... No, this is a drive on the right country. So this must just be a 2-lane one-way street, which is fine. Those exist. We got a lady here sipping a beverage. Can't tell what beverage. Can't really discern much of nothing from her clothing. Dude in a striped shirt. You know, the best time to wear a striped shirt is all the time. Ow. Sports One says the Android owner in the chat is... Oh.
Let the record show that this viewer was here first.
Good morning, Sam. Samurai Sam was here first. Oh, the Wordle help text is... God damn it. You know, I have a program thing here. I have a program monitor. I could have just seen that. I didn't. All right. So basically the only thing we have to go over here is the sign that says no parque di vane. I'm going to be very annoyed with myself if this turns out to actually be Italy, because as soon as I said this in my stupid Italian accent, I immediately ruled it out. 7HU, Autot 19HU. So this could be saying no van parking, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that makes entirely too much sense. That seems fine. That seems to be what this sign is saying. Where and how would they express the sentiment, don't park your van from 7 to 7 in this manner? All right, I've spent entirely too much time on this. I'm not going to get it. It's fucking Germany. I give up. We're in Germany, and if we're in Germany, we might as well be in Berlin. We're not in Germany, but if we're in Germany, we might as well be in Berlin. It is also 1978. Okay? Fine. It's Brussels 1980. I'll take it. I'll absolutely fucking take it. I have no idea how I got within half a continent of it. Good job, Goog. Good job, Goog. Final score 41-742. Drop those GGs in the chat, because at least we're decent at Time Guesser today. For today's Immaculate Grid, we need Padres and Cubs and Giants and Royals and Brewers and dudes what's in the Halls of Fame, and sadly, that means no Brandon Workman. Unfortunate, but a San Francisco Giant who is in the Hall of Fame is Randy Johnson. One of our favorite buttons, especially of recent times. A Chicago Cub who is in the Hall of Fame is, fuck it, take the layup, Ernie Banks. And a San Diego Padre who is in the Hall of Fame is Mike Piazza. Everyone remembers Padres legend Mike Piazza, don't they? All right. Dude who played for the Brewers and the Giants is a wonderful question. Just a spectacular inquiry there. I really appreciate the ask. Anyway, dude who played for the Royals and Giants is Carlos Beltran. You know, I almost said him for a Giant who was in the Hall of Fame, but No. Royal and Giant, Carlos Beltran. I don't think Carlos is in the Hall of Fame yet. I don't think he's eligible yet. No, wait. He might be eligible soon. I don't know. Carlos Beltran, very good baseball player. Probably going to wind up in the Hall of Fame if he isn't there already. Maybe he is. Maybe I forgot. Anyway, Royal, who played for the Cubs, is Mark Grudzielanek. Pretty sure he was a Royal. He was, in fact, a Royal. Good job. Oh, he came up just short. All right, well, he'll get in next year. Carlos Beltran, future Hall of Famer. Good dude. Possible future manager. Hopefully, maybe future hitting coach of the New York fucking Mets. Good God, the New York fucking Mets. Okay, here's the problem with the New York Mets. Ready? Half of the Mets pitchers are cooked. Like, David Peterson's thrown more innings this season than he's ever thrown. He's completely, totally gassed. Clay Holmes has thrown more innings this season than he's ever thrown. He's completely, totally gassed. Is Carlos Beltran a good dude? I don't know. He comes off as personable or something. He cheated at baseball one time. Several times, probably. I don't know. He's a fella. He was good at baseball. So Clay Holmes is gassed. David Peterson's gassed. Sean Manaea is pitching with bone chips in his elbow and his arm hurts. Kodai Senga has a lingering hamstring injury and might just suck. Kodai Senga has a lingering hamstring injury and might just suck so bad that he got sent down to the minor leagues. So the other half of the Mets rotation is it consists presently of Brandon Sproat, a guy who is mostly relevant for his name sort of being a blowjob joke if you think about it and give him the right nickname. Jonah Tong, who is early on in his career of becoming fancy dog Clay Buchholz, and Nolan McLean, the greatest right-handed pitcher of all time. So, there's some reason to hope there, but it's also annoying and irksome. Also, 90% of the Mets bullpen sucks, and the one Mets reliever who doesn't suck is randomly generated every day, and they don't tell you. There's a vat of ping pong balls, and about half the balls in the vat are Edwin Diaz, and the other half are distributed fairly evenly among Brooks Raley and Gregory Soto, and there's like one ball in there that says Ryan Helsley, and there are a handful of balls in there that say like Reed Garrett or whatever. And Carlos Mendoza just reaches into his vat of ping pong balls, pulls out the one that doesn't suck that day, holds it up so that only the camera can see, and then stuffs it in his pocket and never looks at it. That is how the Mets operate their bullpen management. I mean, Edwin Diaz having half of the Mets balls is basically the narrative of talk radio, so you're not wrong. How does one fix the 2025 New York Mets? One doesn't. I'm sorry. At this point, they just are what they are. You gotta kind of hope that the guys in the rotation who are cooked find some way to eke their way through a 5-inning, 3-run start, which, sucks and is bad, but at the same time is the best start in weeks from dudes who aren't the good half of the Mets rotation. And David Peterson did that last night. And then Carlos Mendoza brought in Reed Garrett and Brooks Raley, who gave up 3 more runs and the Mets lost 6-4. So, they didn't have the ping pong ball last night. You may have noticed that none of the ping pong balls for who might be the good Mets relief pitcher today are Ryan Stanek, and yet Ryan Stanek keeps getting innings. I don't know, man. Carlos Mendoza's a bad manager, but you can't fire your bad manager for stupid reasons I don't agree with. Just like you can't fire your bad hitting coaches for stupid reasons I don't agree with. So you don't fix the 2025 New York Mets. They are what they are. They're probably going to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to go far. The 2026 New York Mets, I don't know, man. You go find a couple more Stop knocking shit off the couch, Cat. I'm ranting about the Mets. The 2026 New York Mets, you go find a good starting pitcher who isn't in the organization somehow. They could. Listen, the Reds and Giants could catch them, but the Reds and Giants also kind of suck. None of these teams are good. The Mets are probably the most talented. So, the Reds and Giants aren't good. If the Mets missed the playoffs, it's the Mets' own goddamn fault. The Mets were 21 games over 500. Incidentally, if your team is at any point in the regular season 21 games over 500, and then you miss the playoffs, and you don't fucking fire everyone, you're not a serious organization and you shouldn't be taken seriously. That having been said, you fix the 2026 New York Mets by going and getting a starting pitcher who can pitch like an entire season without breaking down, a wild revolutionary concept apparently. And you move Brandon Nimmo to first base. You give the Padres whatever they want for Fernando Tatis Jr. You go find a third baseman, and you ship the following dudes the fuck out of the organization for whatever you can get for them. Mark Vientos, gone. Luis Angel Acuna, gone. Ronnie Mauricio, gone. Brett Beatty stays as a 10th regular or else is gone. Is there anyone else on the Mets who needs to not be on the Mets? I mean, the coaching staff. But anyway, yeah, that's how you fix the New York Mets. The Immaculate Grid. A Kansas City Royal who played for the San Diego Padres is Will Myers, I think. He was a Royal, wasn't he? I don't know. Now I'm angry and it's 7:56 and I want to be done. I failed! Will Myers never played for the Royals. Damn it! Eric Hosmer was a Royal, wasn't he? He like came up as a Royal. He was famously a Royal, and then he was, yeah, okay. Brewer, who was also a Cub, is Brian Dunsing. No, that's completely incorrect. That's wholly inaccurate. I made that up completely out of left field. All right, let's see here. Giant, who was also a Brewer, is Ray Durham. No, that's incorrect. Giant, who was also a Brewer, is Edwin Jackson. Man, that's false. Brewer, who was also a Cub, is... Man, it seems like the Cubs would have taken a flyer on Ben Sheets after his arm exploded, but I think he only ever made the majors with the Brewers. Like, I think he caught on with a couple other teams, but he was always a Brewer. Sadly, Zach Greinke doesn't fit any of these other teams. He was a Brewer, but he was not a Giant, nor a Cub, nor a Padre. Feels very Cubs, Zach Greinke. Could have been a Cub, wasn't a Cub. Sad. There is an old button that can be pressed. I have an old dusty button I haven't pressed in a minute. Oh no, not my old dusty button. Oh no. Oh no. I'm afraid. A Brewer who was also a Padre is Tony Gwynn Jr. Let's say that. I don't know. That's probably inaccurate. Tony Gwynn Jr. was, in fact, a Brewer and a Padre. Good job, Goog. Let's see here. I've already used... Hold on. A Brewer who was also a Cub is Tony Graffinino? There we go. How about we chart that child? Tony Graffinino was not a Brewer and a Cub. Which wasn't he? I don't know. He could have been neither. Sad. All right, what did I miss? A Brewer who was also a Cub is Aramis Ramirez. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was the Wade Miley button. The Wade Miley button would have fit the center square. Oh well. Worst game of Hollywood squares ever. Our center square is Wade Miley. Folks, that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. I completely failed to stream Dragon Age: the Veilguard last night on account of my work job running longer than anticipated. I will probably try to do a make good tonight. I don't even want to hold myself to that, man. I kind of just want to sit on the couch and play Overwatch all night. Maybe I'll just sit on the couch and play Overwatch all night. I don't know, man. We'll check the Discord server. There will be a ping whether or not I'm streaming. So I will either see you folks later tonight for DA the V or next fucking Thursday, because I'm going to be in Pittsburgh through Wednesday. So yeah, have a good weekend, everybody. Take care. And this is the end screen. Bye.